Hello, Rise Up Visionaries. I'm Susan May, and I'm here to share my random ramblings and anything that goes through my brain to inspire you to tune into your intuition so you can begin your journey of unplugging. So today, the topic I have in mind, or the title of this live, is when is the right time? And the second part is how do we know? So I've been having some conversations with people who are so ready for change. And these conversations are mostly in regards to jobs, to careers, people that are just ready to be done with whatever particular job or career they are in right now. And of course, part of that is how it impacts their life and their lifestyle. And I can really relate to these people because I am so ready to be done teaching early mornings with VIP Kid too. So people are just growing out of these jobs that just don't fulfill them anymore, and they don't allow them to create the life that they really long for and that they desire and that they deserve. So I can relate because I feel that way too a lot. I'm like, I'm so tired some days, and I'm just like, as much as I love the job, I do. It's an easy job. It's not hard for me to teach these kids, and I love the kids. It's not the teaching part, it's the hours that I'm so exhausted and that impacts the rest of my day. And to be honest, it has been a difficult job for most of the time. And I've heard that lots of VIP Kid teachers do end up quitting because of this, or just, stopping, moving on. But I have held on because it is an easy job. It's supplemental income for our family. And when I got the job, we were in a really uncertain place. Mike didn't have a job, and so the job to me in my head represents security. And I think that has been a huge part of me wanting to keep the job. So my advice is not really advice, like usual. Maybe it's not time for someone to walk away from a job or to make another huge life change. Maybe that's moving, changing a relationship, leaving a relationship, or any big major life change that you can think of. Maybe it's not time yet. Maybe it's really just time to wait and let things keep unfolding naturally. Or maybe it is time. Maybe the time for waiting has passed. So I can't tell you when that time is, and no one else can either. And I was just thinking, as I thought about my introduction, about how what I'm trying to do is get you inspire you to tune into your intuition. That's really where the gold is at, where you get quiet and calm. And so there are things you can do to quiet your mind, to become calm, in spirit, right? In your heart and in your mind, and then answers will become more clear. Because often we don't leap until someone or something pushes us, right? I've had this in my life, in my family's life. Mike lost his job in 2016. And, we always talked about like moving away from the DC area and having more land and more country living. And it wasn't until he lost his job that it was a kick in the pants, it was like the boot that our butts needed. So I would say that very often we won't leap until we're pushed. I would even go further and say we usually, or maybe even almost always, won't leap until we're pushed. But that's probably not the best time, right, to make drastic life changes. Like, if we could be more proactive, wouldn't that be better? So there are times in life, like right now for me, I'm starting this business and I'm loving it and I love working. And so it's kind of this natural unfolding and this natural change. And I have a goal in mind. I'm like, I am going to stop teaching at VIP Kid. It's just not yet. Right now, that's still a great source of income, especially as I'm putting money into this new adventure. So there are times in life where I have been proactive that have worked out so well. I would say learning natural family planning, which I talked about before, which is basically knowledge of your fertility. We did that very proactively. I learned before we had children. which is really ideal because for a year before we even tried to conceive, I was able to see, oh, I can do this. I understand the way my body works, and I can prevent pregnancy. And then we were able to achieve and prevent whenever we wanted. Now, after you have 5 children and you really don't want more children, that's probably not the best time to learn, right? Because there's a risk factor there. It was low risk for me when I learned because I knew I wanted babies soon. So if things didn't go according to plan, it wouldn't be such a big deal. So that was a time when being proactive was really great for me. Learning about unschooling, I was super proactive. I started reading when Marisol was 18 months old, our firstborn. Now, it wasn't like intentionally proactive. It was luck, or it was good fortune or fate or divine, I don't know, all of the above, because I was reading about other topics and it just led naturally to that. So I would say the big time that we as a family needed a push was when Mike lost his job. And it was a push for us to just go somewhere, to push our comfort zones, and well, that's the first time. I would say we're right now in the middle of the next time of really getting a kick in the pants. And this time, I feel like that first time prepared us, which is what I always talk about when I say that I feel like we were more prepared for the last 18 months. Moving to us was hard, but not so overwhelming that it felt so daunting or unmanageable. It was like, well, we can do it. We've done it many times. And making these big life changes now feels pretty good for us. So how do we know? I want to tell you a story about last fall when we were debating whether to move from Virginia, whether to leave the country even, or what we wanted to do. And I got in a zone around October where I did kind of disconnect more from all that was going on in the world. I was still paying attention, but it wasn't with the intensity that I had been in the spring and summer. And I was spending hours and hours on the trampoline with Carter. We would jump and I would just lie in the middle and just stare at the sky. And it was so peaceful and so calming for my brain and my spirit. And one day I was lying there. I think this was actually in November. I can't remember, October or November. And a thought just came into my head, and I just thought, well, we can go to Florida and rent our house. And it felt just right. Like, it was a very calm voice. It was a very, I just don't know how to explain it to you. And when I talked to Mike, he was like, right away, yeah, we can do that. And we were just on the same page. And from that moment on, I really just knew it would happen. There were bumps in the road. We had to rent our house. We had to find a place to live here. By January, we did all that. But I just really believed it was going to happen. And so that's what I mean about tuning into your intuition. But we're out of practice for a lot of reasons. For one, our culture doesn't value intuition. And so it's likely to get made fun of a lot. Like, like someone recently said they don't like the word woo because it's kind of like making fun of those people. And I get that. But intuition is so important, and it's equally as important as knowledge, brain knowledge. So it does take practice if you haven't done it. You have to do things to encourage it. And a lot of it is like some kind of meditation, some kind of stilling of your mind, getting out of in nature, disconnecting from watching, being stimulated all the time. So doing things that settle your mind and your heart and your spirits to get quiet and then see what happens. So I would say my advice usually, and for me now, is like, if you're not sure if it's the right time, you probably should wait longer. Like waiting, getting still and waiting and seeing what happens. What is life going to bring to you? And because with time and stilling our minds and just taking one step at a time, things unfold in a really beautiful and natural way. So that is my advice to all of you who are wondering, when is the right time and how will I know? When is that time for me to make that big change or take that next step? And so I encourage you to keep doing that. Keep taking those small steps. And when you're ready, take that big leap. Maybe you don't need a push. Maybe you will just do it because you're ready. Thank you for watching. Please like my Rise Up with Susan May page on Facebook and subscribe to my YouTube channel. More importantly, share anything that inspires you so the good energy and love begins to spread like wildfire. And remember, be bold, be brave, be you, because who else is there to be? I love you all, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.